Murder sparked a summer of protests across the country and here in Portland. And here in the city, those often turned into violent clashes between police and demonstrators.
Now, a local man is suing the city and a Portland Police Bureau officer after he says he was wrongly attacked and injured during one of those protests. Fox 12's Kendra Kent is live here with us after the man's emotional interview today. Kendra?
Yeah, Pete, Elijah Warren says he was talking to an officer about tear gas coming into his home when another officer came up behind him, clubbing him with a baton completely out of the blue, he says. In this lawsuit, he hopes to hold both the city and that officer accountable and responsible for his medical bills, as well as setting a new standard for police use of force.
I guess I'm excited because I'm hoping that it's going to push the discussion further with police accountability.
From battered and bleeding to front and center after filing a lawsuit Tuesday against the city of Portland and a Portland police officer who Elijah Warren claims beat him for no reason during a protest back in September.
It's pretty clear that the Portland police officer targeted him because he was black and thought he was a protester and thought therefore he could just use whatever force he wanted to.
Warren says that night he was at home with his son and his son's friend when tear gas started leaking into his southeast Portland house, leaving the two younger boys screaming and trying to clear their eyes.
I went outside to find a police officer to figure out what was going on, and that's when I got assaulted.
Warren says he was just talking with one officer with no protesters in sight when another officer came up from behind, clubbing him out of nowhere.
I was hit behind my ear with a police baton, and it just busted open the whole right side of my ear where I had to get stitches.
Warren got emotional when he talked about returning to his son after the alleged attack.
I'm coming back into my house, and he's thinking that I got stabbed or shot because so much blood is coming from the side of my head.
The lawsuit seeks $400,000 in damages for medical bills and emotional suffering and claims the city was negligent on two fronts for not providing the officer adequate training and not disciplining him for what it calls, quote, past misuses of force on the job. Warren's lawyers say this case is far from a rarity and instead is one of so many other brutal encounters with police during protests the last year.
We're hoping to show for the citizens that this is not going to stand in our city.
Warren says he hopes the officer quits, but wants the lawsuit to pave a better future for his son.
They work for us. They're supposed to protect us. They're not supposed to be terrorizing us.
And Warren's attorneys are also representing several other people who say they have been wrongfully attacked by police. We did reach out to the city of Portland and Portland police for comment on the lawsuit. We are still waiting to hear back at this time. Reporting live in studio, Kendra Kent, Fox 12 Oregon.